everyone, but thank you very much for staying with us throughout our news. Now we move on to our next news. The White House has now officially declared that U.S. President Donald Trump will host the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan at the White House on Friday for what he calls a historic peace summit. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan are set to sign a peace agreement aimed at ending decades of conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh, a dispute that has claimed thousands of lives since the late 1980s. The deal follows months of intensified U.S. diplomacy, including a visit by Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff to the region. U.S. officials say the agreement includes a major breakthrough: the creation of a new transit link called the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, connecting Azerbaijan to its Nakhchivan region through Armenian territory. The corridor is expected to include rail, energy pipelines, and fiber optic lines. The White House says Trump will also sign agreements with both nations covering energy, technology, economic cooperation, border security, infrastructure, and trade to boost stability and prosperity across the South Caucasus. Now we're joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical analyst, joins us live from London. Thank you, Mark, for joining us today. Good to see you. Now, do you think...
Good to see you, Sima.
Thank you. Now, do you think the creation of such a corridor, the long Trump name one, will this be enough to bring lasting peace in the region, with tensions between Armenia and Azerbaijan going back to history?
As you pointed out, I mean, these tensions have been going on since the fall of the Soviet Union, since the wall came down in 1989, but actually just before that. So the tension has always been about over the land, that disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh. And there was a war that ended in 1994. There was another war in 2020. Armenia had that region under their control in that long war that ended in 1994, and then again then having that in 2020. But by 2023, the Azerbaijan then fully took control of that region, and then very sadly about 100,000, as it's estimated, refugees were then on the move. This is any signing of any deal to end any conflict sincerely is always a very, very positive move. We always hope for that. But as you pointed out, it's historic. The historic links there of the tensions that go back many, many years. We always have to bear that in mind as well. But also the fact that the president is using the economic levers yet again. And I think the long view of President Trump, as he knows, his main threat, the main threat to the United States is China. So he is wanting constantly, in my opinion, is to then build relationships with other countries in the best way he could to actually thwart that. In regard to this route, where they can go to the enclave there. It's very important that is kept open. So those links then are positive. But as we always say, suddenly something could explode. But there are, I think, some very positive things happening in that region, particularly with Azerbaijan. But there is a long history of tension. And it takes a lot of courage for both sides to forgive, come to the table, and want to take things forward in a very, very positive way. So this is a good thing that I believe that is actually happening here, Azuma.
Yes, maybe a step towards peace in that region. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, Pakistan's military says it has foiled a major